Hey, this is Chip, welcoming you back to the next segment of Team Chip Empower You. You know, we had some segments on mat vision, being on the mat, handling the mat, seeing the mat. We had a segment on canny, constant, and never-ending improvement, something that we all, everywhere we are, no matter what career field we need to be striving for. This week we're going to talk about changing the frame of your frame of thinking, changing your mindset. And one time I was reading, I'm an avid reader, study tons of Stephen Covey and Anthony Robbins and John Maxwell and Brian Tracy and all that kind of stuff to try to constantly grow. Every day I spend some time reading and studying, so and I encourage you guys to do that as well. But this is not about me. One time I was reading a story by Stephen Covey, and it was super powerful. And I can't remember which book. It might have been 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in there he's talking about changing your mindset or changing your frame of thinking. I think this is very, very powerful for us as instructors that we think this way. You know, we typically get into martial arts and you know, run a business because it's our passion, it's our technical area, something that we enjoy doing, and we enjoy the mat. And sometimes I think we can get maybe a little callous. You know, we're tired, it's been a long day, we've taught a lot of classes, and somebody comes trickling in at the end of the day, and you're like, oh, somebody's coming in the door, and I was just about to flip the close sign on. And it, you know, it can be tough. It can be tough to switch that frame of thinking. So I want to give you a quick story that I got from Stephen Covey that I think is very, very powerful. And it goes something like this. One day on a subway, we'll just assume like maybe New York City or you know some very large place with a subway system, and there's a man that's doing his normal daily commute. You know, he's popped back and he's reading his newspaper, and he's just enjoying kind of his quiet time on his way to work, doing his daily read. You know, catching up with the here's and nows and what's happening around him, and he's reading his newspaper. And a man and 3 children climb into the subway, come over, and the man sits next to him. Well, he's reading his paper, and the 3 children with the other man, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're all over the sub. They're like, boom, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. They're making noise. They're bouncing off. They're bumping the guy's paper. You know, he's trying to read his paper. He's like, this is my normal quiet time. This is my normal kind of read time, my commute. I'm doing my thing. I'm in my pattern. And, you know, he's looking over, and the dad next to him is just kind of like out in his zone. He's out in his zone. And he's reading his newspaper, and you know, finally, I don't know about you, but if it was me and I'm doing my normal commute, that's my read time, and these kids are everywhere, I would probably be a little internally kind of going, you know, can you do something with your kids? You know, I'm starting to get a little frustration built up. So this guy's getting a little frustrated. He's starting to burn a little bit, maybe get a little sweat going. He's like, okay, the kids are just everywhere, making noise, bumping his feet, stepping on his toes, and so finally he folds up the newspaper, lays it down, and he looks over and he says, excuse me, sir, you know, do you think you could do something with your kids? Because I'm trying to read my paper day. You know, I'm just trying to get my daily routine done here. And the guy's over here just in like a zone. And he kind of pops out, and he's like, he turns and looks at the man that folded up the newspaper, and he says, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't even realize what was happening. It's my bad. We just left the hospital, and their mom just passed away. Bam. I don't know about you, but I went from feeling like, to feeling like, because I wasn't thinking outside my box. You know, and I think that's a good example of switching your frame of thinking from, you know, maybe just about me and what's important to me today to everybody around me. And so what does that have to do with that person that's coming in at the last minute of the day? You're kind of tired, maybe you had a little bit of a rough day, and you're like, Let me ask you a question. Let's say she's bringing in a 10-year-old young man. He's kind of bouncing off the walls. You look at that 10-year-old young man and say, man, that's a kid that needs some self-control. Man, that's a kid that somebody needs to put their foot down on and make that kid work hard. Well, you might get that opportunity to do that, but or do you look at that kid and you go, that guy's going to be an amazing black belt someday. That guy's going to be my next superstar leadership team member. That guy right there is going to be my next instructor. And switch your frame of thinking to, it's about me, I'm a little tired, you know, I've had a long day already, I've done my duty for the day, to how can I serve you and have the opportunity for you to come onto my mat, into my facility, into my home, and be a part of my family. So anyway, I just want to encourage you sometimes when you have those moments of frustration and time to remember to kind of change that frame of thinking. Think outside the box, for lack of better words, and think outside yourself and think about your future, and that can be fueled by your passion. Be passionate about changing lives. Be passionate about taking these guys from maybe minimal structure in their life to a structured environment that teaches them amazing leadership skills and amazing physical self-defense skills, and helps groom them into the next generation of great leaders. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's Team Chip Empower You, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time.